Hello everyone, thank you for showing up today for the webinar here at OpenE. We're proud to have these webinars on a frequently basis, and what we'd like to do is basically start off with today's webinar on January 25th, and we will be talking about activation and activating your product with the product key and how to activate your DSS V6, why is it important to activate, and if you're using a trial or DSS Lite version, how to enter your product key first before activation. Then we'll talk about selecting online or offline activation and how that works. Then what we'll be talking about is verifying your activation via the GUI of the console. Again, today's January 25th, 2011, and I'm Todd Maxwell, and with me is Tom Simon from the OpenE sales team. Let's begin because we have some PowerPoints we want to go over, and then we'll actually perform the activation on the DSS V6. So let's go to the next screen. One of the things I usually always present is the webinar info. What I'd like for, first of all, is to verify that when you're using the NetViewer, on the right side, there is a chat window. There you can communicate, provide me questions so I can give you answers. And also, if you check your voice over IP connection, verify the sound is working adequately and you can hear me, or you can hear me on the conference as well that we have dialed in. So all the webinars will be recorded, and they are located at the www.open-e.com library, webcasts and demos. And there you'll see a lot of the webinars that are recorded with a lot of detailed information. Additionally, the presentation is muted. This avoids background noise and allows you to listen to me without the interference. Again, use the chat on the right side of your window of the NetViewer to ask me questions later at the end of the show. Let's begin. So when you typically start off with DSS and you've already created your volume, or you're using the trial version, or actually you purchased and you wanted to enter your product key, or the Lite version, which provides also a key as well. If you look, you usually want to go to the Help About status window, the Help About data storage software. In there you'll see the screen that shows the serial number. Now, typically, all trial versions have a TRL0022 serial number. And, of course, the product key is always the same. And by default, the license capacity is unlimited. So if you have over 48 terabytes, we'll be able to accommodate you with the trial version. Trial versions last about 60 days. If you've used the trial version in the past, then that's also added as a count. So sometimes if you go beyond that period and you need extended times, please email the support team and we'll help you out and give you another 30 days if need be. So let's look at where the product keys are loaded. If you'll go into the GUI and you'll see in the Help About section all the way down the bottom, it's called Extension Key Loaders. Here's where we have the product key where you enable it. Once you enter this product key and apply, you will need to reboot the system. So this also works for any storage license keys as well. And this is for the DSS trial version to convert into a full version, and also a trial version converted into a DSS Lite version. Now, once you want to be able to go to the shutdown system, so you want to restart it. So there where you want to be is maintenance, shutdown, and of course you'll see system restart button right there, and that'll restart your system. Once this begins to come back up, then you should see your serial number that's located right there in the same place in the Help About section. So, and if you notice that there's a storage license key, it'll either say 16 terabytes or whatever you've purchased. And also you'll see that the product key has now changed and listed right there on the GUI. You can also obtain the product key through your user portal at open-e.com in the support section. And also, you can also see it on your console screen as well. So it's a good idea always to store this information somewhere in case you need it later on. But if not, you can always refer back to your user portal as well. Now, once you've entered the product key, at this point in time, you need to activate it. Now, what's important about the activation is this allows us to know that your product is now activated. It helps you also to obtain support because then now you're able to update, register, and it's fully registered with our support system. And there's two ways to do the activation. You could do an online activation, or an offline activation. Typically on the first install, and if you're not behind a very secured network, what we call a lockdown situation, you would normally use the online activation. It's faster. What we require is port 25 or 10,440 open in the firewall, going outbound only. So this is for TCP connections that need to activate the system. Now, once you online activation, really it takes just a few seconds and you're done, and you'll never have to do it again unless you decide to move the DSS V6 into another system or add, let's say, another PCIe device or another RAID controller, another CPU. These are things that are changes, and that at that point in time you'd want to do an offline activation. An offline activation is real simple. You basically just download the hardware stamp and then send it to our support team, which is provides you the email address to activate. And then we send you back the hardware activation key. So again, once you've updated the product, here at the console screen, you'll see that the serial number is there and also your license capacity. Now, the online activation, again, when you do this and you want to be able to check, it's very imperative to your firewall or router that you need to allow the TCP/IP connections to go outbound only on ports 25 or 10,444. So this will allow the process to happen for up to, you have about 30 days after you create your volume group that you do need to activate. So it's very important that you activate as soon as you create your volume group, and then you have up to 30 days to activate it. After activation, the product is linked to your hardware. So the system, drives, and the main board, they're all tied in. And again, you can always reactivate if you decide to move to another system or do an upgrade to a system. So just keep in mind that a lot of people do this, and we know that. We're allowing for that, that if you decide to do any upgrades, that we allow you to do, and best to use the offline activation, and we can activate your system. So here on the offline activations, you'll see that really all we want to do is be able to do download from the offline activation, and internet access is not required. All we do need is you to email that at the activation@activation-key.com. So it will be in a form of a file that you see on here on the left. It's a serial number basically, .hws, which is the hardware stamp. Now, once you email that back to us, we pretty much return the activation key relatively quick. It's usually within a day or within hours, and we return that very fast. So you'll see a big, long, large file that has a serial number and then, of course, a lot of characters that's tied into really the product key and the .act file. So you'd want to hit apply after you browse and find that file, and there's no reboot in this process as well. So once it's completed, you'll see that the page is updated. It says activation is successful, and you can take our survey as well. It's important that we hear information about you to improve our product. So we do read these, and we do develop modifications and improvements based on some of your suggestions. So once this is registered, uploaded and finished, then we really want you to register the product. This allows you to obtain support, email or phone for the DSS full version products. Also, you can get full support for DSS Lite, and we'll go into that later on. So again, please register, because we also have software updates for the DSS, and you want to be able to update periodically to get the latest features and functions, and especially drivers to be updated. So we have to provide these, and we do this on an annual basis. So let's begin, and let's just go ahead right into showing you how this is all done, so that way you get a full spectrum of how it's performed. Again, thank you for attending all the webinars. They are planned. You can always see them as what the next schemes are going to be and what we're going to be talking about in the next days and time. So let's end the PowerPoint presentation. And let's go right into where I want to really talk about first is once you get into your user portal, you'll see here that you have the ability to generate Product keys. Now, we'll start off with the Lite. You can't get product keys for a full version or for a trial version because trial versions allow you 60 days. But your DSS Lite product allows you unlimited time of usage, and it's a free product that we provide. Opening is very generous in providing this to many users. It gives you 2 terabytes with some limited features, but nonetheless, it's a very widely used product, and many companies like to use the DSS Lite, and you can upgrade. If you get sometimes up to 10 licenses that you can generate. So here, if you want to generate a key, you just click on the generator key button. And this is right here in your Lite products. And you'll see right here in the user tabs right here. Here's the key and now also the serial number associated with it. So you can just copy and paste this key right in the GUI of the Help About section of DSS V6 or the Lite, V6 Lite. If you need details on your product key, you can always remember that you can go right to your details for this product. So let's say I would like to purchase premium support. Here, once you purchase the premium support, and again, this is very important why you need to activate and register. This way we keep information here about your product to assist you. So here you have information of the serial number, the product key, the registration date, the storage. You can always add additional storage capacity to the DSS Lite or even to the DSS V6 full professional version right here on the right. And you can also upgrade to DSS Lite to DSS V6. What I want to show you again is that on the bottom we now have support for DSS Lite. Actually, we have premium support and additionally an annual standard support that after 1 year on the full version, you can continue adding on more support plans. Premium is probably one of your best support plans available, so it's available for all of the products that are registered, even including DSS Lite. So once you've pretty much generated a key, then now you can go ahead and create this key. And let's look at a DSS Lite system. Here I have a product key that I've generated. And I want you to take a look up here. Right now I'm using DSS full version trial version. So here is the serial number. TRL means trial. There always will be that way. And it's an unlimited version. So what we've done is we've already copied our product key, and that's a DSS Lite product key, and we're going to go ahead and apply that. And here you see that the key is valid, and changes will take effect when you will reboot the server. Now, what this does is that it converts the trial into the DSS Lite. No longer will be an unlimited capacity. It'll convert it to 2 terabytes. Please bear that in mind. If you have more than 2 terabytes, that you will need to add additional license keys or purchase the full version. So we'll go ahead and restart this system. And this will come back up, and momentarily we'll go to another topic about the activation, and you'll see that it's a DSS Lite version. And when the product is updated, we'll go to this trial version that we have here. The activation DSS, because I have another tab up here. So here's one that we've updated that was a trial version to a full version. So this is now what's called a product key. It's a 2 terabyte version of DSS. What I've done is I've already entered the product key so we can keep the webinar going. So here I have the ability to do an online, which allows me to go to the internet and activates it shortly. Now if we take the offline activation, here's where we download the hardware stamp. So in a lot of areas, especially military government sites or a total lockdown site where there's no internet allowed for any storage systems to be used, and we are used in a lot of military, government, black ops, and very public companies that have a lockdown facility, it does not allow the internet access to any of the storage systems. So for the data security reasons, we offer the offline activation. So once you click on the download button, this provides you a file that you see right here, which is the file, the stamp, the hardware stamp, what we call, and you save that, and then of course you email that at the activation at activation-key.com. Now once we receive this, usually the engineers, they respond very fast to this, so they're not going to be longer than a day. We typically do them within minutes to hours, so you relatively get these pretty quick. This helps you to deploy the system or be able to get the system activated and complete so you can move forward. So here I've already had the activation key, and we're going to go ahead and upload it. And here's my key that I've already generated. And I just hit apply at this point. And then you get the message. So we don't have to do a restart on the activation. Again, you can take your survey, and then once you've complete, we want you to register your product, and it's for your benefit, once again, for support reasons, and also provide product updates. So once the system is up, nothing really changes here, and you're good to go to start using the DSS V6 full version. And let's talk about we've already got one activation, so the activation is done at this point. And we'll go for the trial version. Here I have a trial version of DSS V6. Again, you will always see trial 00222. It will always be the unlimited version. A lot of times trial versions are used in case of testing, or that you've had a total system revamped and you want to be able to test before you put the product key in, and this is good. So at the end, what you want to do is look down here at the extension key loaders and be able to put your product key, then hit apply. And again, this will cause a reboot. So when this reboots, we'll be able to see that the trial version turns into a full version. We'll go to shutdown, restart. Now I want to mention also that when we do activations, if you were to do an online activation, what you want to make sure again is you want to take your make sure that your gateway is able, and you're able to get access to the internet. So here we'd want to have some internet access, a gateway to get to the outside world. So here we'll put an IP address, and so you want to make sure that the gateway is on. Keep in mind that this will just do a network restart. It will not restart the system or services. So all it's doing is just resetting the NIC to that IP address for the gateway. You still have access to that IP to the DSS V6, so do not worry about that. So once you have this completed, then you're pretty much ready to go to use the online activation. And this will help you. So as you see here that this product key's already been loaded up. Again, you also have the ability for additional storage license capacity keys that you can add. And then, of course, on the bottom, it always states that now once your product is activated, that you no longer have to do it again unless you change the hardware. But if you do decide to add additional storage capacity beyond the realm of what you currently have, then you want to use the license keys that we will provide once you purchase them. And then apply this, and then, of course, it will do a restart. So the activation is now back up on the system, and we are good to go with that activation. So we'll wait till the DSS Lite. It looks like DSS Lite came back up. So this is where the case where we had a trial version. We've updated the product key. We rebooted it. And now you can see it states that it's a DSS Lite version right here. So we'll go right into the GUI. And we see now that it states it's a DSS V6 Lite. Here's the product key, which matches what we have in our user portal, and the serial number. And of course, the base capacity is 2 terabytes. Keep in mind that the DSS V6 Lite can be upgraded to additional capacities and support, and also can be converted to a full version with one reboot. In the online activation is, again, what we want to make sure before we do an online activation is let's check that we do have a gateway to the internet. So what we're going to do is select ETH0, which is currently what we're using right now. And we'll put the IPS to my gateway. Now I know on my firewall, all my ports of 25 and 10,444 are open. So let's go back. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that we already set this up. So we have these ports open. And of course, now we get activation of your system will be running for 30 days after the volume group. We've already created a volume group. The host name could not be resolved. Please check your DNS settings. So we want to make sure, again, gateway and DNS, that you can get to the outside world. So let's go ahead and explore that. So this is why I do certain things on these webinars, that I make these problems so you can see that how to resolve them. That way, when you're out in the field, you need something to be activated, you understand that what you see from these videos are actually real live events. So that way we can help you. All right, so let's go back and let's try the activation once more. And it should take, and there we go. So you can see that the online activation is much faster than downloading the hardware stamp. But again, if you're in a lockdown area, this helps you to be able to at least activate your system without any delay. And also that once you register the product, again, you can get support. So at this point, what we've done is we've explored all the trial versions. We've talked about how to upgrade a trial to a full product version of DSS V6, as we've done so here, and also to upgrade a trial version using, and just what we did here, upgrade a trial version to DSS Lite. And again, you can upgrade from DSS Lite to the full version of DSS V6. Now it says you need to activate your product, and this is where you come back to, on this version, we have 17 terabytes. We can do an online or an offline activation. Well, that's it, everybody. That's what we wanted to do this webinar, because we did have a lot of questions over the many months about activation, and this explores all the options and features of being able to activate online or offline. And I wanted to thank everybody for joining me. What we'll do is we'll end the recording, so that way at the end we can provide questions and answers right on the chat or on the voice conference. Thank you, everybody. Take care.